Today, we are taking a look at Reddit for inspiration on some very, very simple but effective builds in Minecraft. So here we are in a world where I have all of my tips kind of set up, and we're going to start off here on the topmost build right here. And this is a tip from Snorlax Taddy on Reddit, and this shows off that you can actually stretch your ice a lot further if you add a space in between. And what people use this compacted ice for is moving very, very fast. Normally in the Nether, this is a great way to transport between, one block here and then 1,000 blocks away. Let's go into the Nether where blocks are a lot shorter and place down this ice, and you move across it in a boat very, very, very fast. And so you can see that having a 1 block space in between this ice does not actually affect the boat, and the boat will not fall into the space. Even if it's a little bit sideways, I can't get it to fall through in any way. Now, over here, I have added a little bit of my own tip to this tip, and that is you can fill the extra space with slabs, and that'll make sure that no pigmen will spawn in between. And then also, if you add buttons onto the top of your ice, that'll also make sure that nothing else spawns, no pigmen spawn. And if you want them all to go the same direction, I was putting them over here on the side, just like this. And that'll just make sure that pigmen don't end up becoming a nuisance on your trail here, because you will bump into them and won't be able to boat any further. So making sure that they do not spawn on your awesome ice highway is a big advantage. This next tip is from MC Eligot, and this is that the side of the loom block actually looks an awful lot like an empty shelf. And I agree that these lines sort of line up perfectly with the bookshelf, have the exact same wood texture, and look basically exactly like empty bookshelves. So you can use bookshelves around the loom just like this, and it looks like you have an empty bookshelf. And I've actually seen this in other videos before. Not really sure if this is the original person who came up with this idea. I've seen this on some Captain Sparkles videos and stuff like this. But credit where credit is due. MC Eligot is the one who I saw this from on Reddit. This next tip is from OK Alana. And this is using end rods, which, by the way, I forgot that you can craft end rods. You use a blaze rod and popped chorus fruit to make a end rod just like this. And let's go ahead and summon a zombie. And you can probably guess that on the other side of this sort of end rod wall, that for whatever reason, it confuses the AI of the zombie, and he bumps up against the end rod so that he doesn't attack me. Now, I have noticed that this isn't all 100% foolproof. He sort of bumps into it and then gives up, and he realizes that he can't get to me. But sometimes as he gives up, he'll just stand there. There you go. And he will pop through those bars. So he basically walks forward, gets stuck, realizes he can't go anywhere, stops, gets bored, then realizes that I'm here and can sometimes squeeze through. But this is a great deterrent if you are kind of trying to, if you wanted to actually punch them or do whatever to the zombie to make sure that he can get hit, and constantly sort of give yourself, oh, hey, look, we got 2 of them. Oh my gosh. And so this gives you a little bit of extra time if you had a sword and actually had weapons to sort of get rid of an intruder. This next build is from Boxboy413, and this is a way to add almost plates into Minecraft in a really, really cool way. So you can see all of this food is just sitting here on this table, and this is 100% survival, nothing in the way. What's going on here is you have a item frame that is holding the food. So if for some reason you did want to turn it, you could also turn it. And then there is a pressure plate hiding that item frame. Now you may say, you know, Chad, this is kind of cool and all, but a birch item frame, why wouldn't you use something like, oh, by the way, when you step on them, it depresses them, and I don't think that they pop back. So you want to make sure that you don't accidentally step on them, because for some reason the item frame and item stuff, it will keep the thing depressed. I'm not really, it's depressed. It's become so depressed recently, but it will keep the pressure plate down on the ground. So you obviously don't want that to happen. Then you would fill it with food. Right now we're having a melon party because that was the one item that I picked, and then you can throw them all down. Now, as I was saying before, why wouldn't you use something that looks a little bit more plate-like, like a iron pressure plate or a gold pressure plate if you wanted golden plates? And the problem is that the item frame actually does a little bit of Z-sharing with the texture of the plate. So you can see this where you see the item frame texture and the iron texture, you know, kind of right there on the same spot. You can also see that on those blocks right there as I move further and further away, and I'll get to why that is happening in a moment. And so the way to combat this is just to use the same texture, and the birch pressure plate is the exact same texture as the item frame. It uses everything exactly the same. So that way there's still that Z sharing going on, but the textures are exactly the same. So it doesn't look like anything is happening. So that's why you need to stick to birch pressure plates for that. Next one, this is from Fudge Boy, and this is a wall that is actually indestructible to TNT. I'll grab some TNT here, set it down, put a lever down, and you can see that the TNT reacts to the ground and everything around it, but this wall, which is only made out of quartz, which is not a very strong block, will not blow up no matter how much TNT I throw at it. Now, there's a few hints that something suspicious is going on. The first one is that this texture and these drops of water. And then the second, well, I guess the second is that there's a water trough at the top. And then also that Z-sharing issue that I was talking about before also happens to these blocks, and it happens worse the further away from the blocks that you get. So you get this really weird sort of look. Z-sharing is when two textures are on the same plane, and so their textures kind of collide. It's funny because it's not an issue as you're up close, but as you move further and further away, it really looks weird. And I don't even think that it stops. Okay, it kind of stops if I stop. So, looks super strange. So what's going on here is that you are waterlogging stair blocks, and anything that is in water, TNT will not destroy. If you didn't know this about TNT, this is a really cool behavior, that you can put TNT down and light it, and as long as it's inside of water, it doesn't destroy any blocks. It will hurt players. It doesn't automatically negate all of the TNT damage, so TNT damage will still affect players and mobs and that sort of thing, but it won't affect blocks. This is also true with creepers. Creepers won't be able to blow up anything in water as well. So what you're doing is you're taking a normal stair and you're placing it down in a line, and any solid facing side will keep the water inside. So if I have something like this, water will actually flow out of the side because there isn't a solid facing side. And so if I put water here, it'll flow out. But if I destroy that and place, there you go, the stair in that direction, the water is still inside, but because we have two solid sides, it will not flow out. And then you can just fill in the rest, and you have waterlogged blocks all the way around. And so over here, you have to sort of build it up layer by layer. So once you're finished with one layer, then you can start the next, and so on, and then waterlog once you have completed the next layer. There's not really a great way. Actually, you know what? I wonder if I can just waterlog it from the side. Although you'd really have to keep track of where you've waterlogged and where you haven't, because there may be some missing blocks. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I can do that. An easy way to think of it is, remember, water, when there's two source blocks, it'll create another one in the middle. So source block, that'll be created. Source block, that'll be created over here. If I do that, that'll all be filled, and that'll be filled. And then same thing diagonally. So really all I have to do is place one here, and then it will fill in the rest. Oh, hello, Wandering Trader. It'll fill in the rest. And I can actually show that up here. But without, this one's completely empty. So without looking, I know that I can put one there, there, and there. And everything on this side will be filled. And so we can look at that. Yep, that's true. And if I place one here, it'll fill all the rest of the blocks in, because basically that block and that block would fill this middle block, but it'll also fill that block. And then once that's there, it'll do the rest down the line. So I can fill this right here. Actually, I'll do it up here so you can see the transition. So there it goes. It goes all the way down the line. And so those are all the way filled. So now you don't actually have to build it completely in layers, just a little bit in layers. Also, if for some reason you really, really, really hate the fact that this may be what the top of your build looks like, you can fix that by placing your stairs upside down. So you can do this for the last layer, and then you would still have completely waterlogged blocks, and you'd have to go over to the other side and complete that look. And that is done. And then we can do the exact same technique to waterlog the whole thing, and you have a completely waterlogged wall that doesn't look like a waterlogged wall, but we can check it with F3, and you can see over on the side where it says targeted block, it says waterlogged true on all of those blocks, which is really, really cool. This next tip comes from No Nsn. It's Nonszn. I have no idea how you would say that out loud. But a lot of builds want to have a better bed inside of that build. And so they use wool sort of in this pattern to show, you know, the white wool is pillows, and then whatever color of wool you use down at the bottom, that is the sheets. And you can make a larger, more formal looking bed that way. Also, this will be a full block height, where normal beds are just the half slab height or half block height. So it's a nice way to add sort of a gigantically, you know, looking bed. Of gigantically is not a word, but it makes a much nicer looking bed. But it doesn't have the functionality of an actual bed. You can't set your spawn point. You can't sleep at night. And so this tip uses these trapdoors on the side, and you can open it up, and voila, there is a hidden bed underneath this bed build. And that is because we are using carpet to make the top layer, and the carpet can hide the bed underneath. So if it was night, which it is now, we can go ahead and sleep inside of this bed. The carpet doesn't mess with the hitbox. You can go ahead and sleep. You wake up. Everything's great. I have daylight cycle set to false, so it's not going to update. But everyone is happy, and you now have set your spawn point, and you have a great looking build. And this last itty bitty micro build, I will like to call it, is from Brian Q9000, and this is a little, it overgrew. Oh, sorry about that. It's a little globe. Look at that. It's a little Earth with snow-capped things on the top, apparently, and it likes to grow a lot, and some continents with some oceans. And if you want to stop all that from growing, you can actually use string. I do suggest that you have some type of black background that'll kind of complete the look of this being a build that is in the in space. There we go, and we can actually destroy the string on the bottom. This isn't like carpet. Oops, I destroyed the string on top. Dang it! And I think I can actually hit the hitbox on the bottom. Oh no, just destroyed my vines. Come back, vines. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put one in the middle, and then I can barely see the hitbox because of the black surrounding it. But there you go. And we can, I think I can. I don't think I can actually. Can't destroy that middle one without getting in the way. But that string basically disappears the moment that you take a step back. If you happen to be up close, then you'll see it. Oh, here, this is the way I destroy that string. There we go. There we go. Now we have string perfectly positioned so that the vines, okay, come on. It's because I have a wall this close. Just make sure you have 2 blocks away from one another, and then that won't happen either. Oh my, this build is very, very finicky. And it's such a micro build. It's literally a block. Maybe a few more, maybe 7 blocks if you consider these side vines and stuff like that to be more blocks. But I think that it's a really cute build. Thanks so much for watching. A big thank you to those of you on Reddit who posted these ideas. I love them all. And big thank you to you for watching all of these grand ideas. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big ol' thumbs up. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And also make sure you subscribe for future videos, tips, tricks, tutorials, and spotlights here on OMG Craft. See you next time. Bye.